When you think of the Wild West, you picture cowboys, duels at high noon, and lawless towns filled with outlaws. But the real American frontier, it was grittier, more diverse, and far more complicated than Hollywood ever told you. Today, we're digging into the true story of the Wild West and separating fact from fiction. Let's start with the biggest myth, the idea that the West was pure chaos. Yes, there were gunfights and gangs, but most towns weren't lawless hellscapes. Take Dodge City, Kansas. It had gunfights, sure, but also strict gun control laws. Visitors had to check their weapons at the edge of town. In fact, statistically, murder rates in the Wild West were often lower than in some modern U.S. cities today. So no, people weren't shooting each other every 5 minutes over poker hands. Cowboys were real, but they weren't glamorous gunslingers. They were mostly young, poor laborers who herded cattle for long, brutal hours. And guess what? 1 in 4 cowboys was black. Many were Mexican or Native American. The Wild West was far more diverse than movies ever showed. And their greatest enemies? Not outlaws, it was boredom, stampedes, and disease on the trail. Names like Billy the Kid and Jesse James echo through legend. But how much of it was true? Billy the Kid likely killed 8 people, not 21 like the stories say. Jesse James was seen as a Robin Hood, but he never actually gave to the poor. He robbed banks and trains and killed plenty of innocent people. And duels at high noon? Rare. Most gunfights were ambushes, drunken brawls, or over in seconds, and very few were as honorable as the movies make them seem. Sheriffs and marshals like Wyatt Earp and Bat Masterson are often portrayed as heroes, but many were just as shady as the criminals they chased. Earp was a gambler, accused of fixing boxing matches, and even killed unarmed men. Justice in the West often decided with a bullet, and whoever had the most friends. Most Western films show Native Americans as either savage enemies or background extras, but they were the original inhabitants of the land. The westward expansion led to massacres, broken treaties, and forced relocations. The Battle of Little Bighorn. That wasn't just a clash, it was native resistance against decades of betrayal. Heroes like Sitting Bull and Geronimo weren't villains. They were freedom fighters defending their homelands. The Wild West wasn't just blood and bullets, it was a place of invention and transformation. The telegraph and railroads changed everything. Barbed wire into the open-range cowboy era, and boomtowns exploded overnight thanks to gold, silver, and oil. Women ran businesses, Chinese immigrants built railroads, and black homesteaders created towns of their own. It was dirty, dangerous, and unpredictable, but it was also where modern America was born. The real Wild West wasn't about outlaws or lone gunslingers, it was about survival. The myths are fun, but the truth?